Golden State Media Concepts Sci-Fi Podcast. Together we dive into the world of sci-fi and science fiction. From episodes of Star Trek, Star Wars, to The Walking Dead, Resident Evil, all the hot new science fiction movies from the backdoors of Marvel or DC. The Golden State Media Concepts Sci-Fi Podcast. You'll never look at science fiction the same way again.
Welcome to the GSMC Sci-Fi Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you by and presented on the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. So I have a confession to make, genuine confession to make. I'm okay. This is going to be hard for me to do. I was slipping, you guys. I didn't know that Deadpool came out last Thursday. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I thought it came out this week. I didn't know it came out actually last Thursday. I had no idea. No idea. And I had things to do this weekend, so I didn't see it. I haven't seen it yet. I had a couple things on my mind. I planned on commandeering a visual presentation of it through the internet. Not a bootleg, not some site, but I was just going to commandeer a visual presentation of it, if you will. I was going to watch that. But, I mean, it's a Marvel movie, and it's probably going to do it justice to be seen on a screen. So I kind of want to see it on a screen. There's that whole thing, right? Okay. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe what I can do is I'll just watch a review about it. I'll watch a review about it, and I'll tell the listeners, what the review said, and just kind of talk about the review and what I think I may see in it. Then all the reviews had spoilers. Then I was like, you know what? I'll watch a review that doesn't have any spoilers, and I'll listen to the review. And then once I listen to the review, I'll listen to it with no spoilers, and I'll know what happens in the movie. And I'm sorry, I'm so disappointed in myself for doing this. But I turned it on and listened to it for 10 to 15 seconds, and I was like, wait a minute. No, I won't lie. It was about 30 seconds. And I was like, wait a minute. One, this is terrible. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's this thing when it comes to when you talk all day long, like me, when you talk all day long, you kind of become a connoisseur of the communication arts, if you will. Well, I'm a connoisseur of that. I have a bachelor's degree in it. That's what I majored in. So it's kind of hard to listen to other people review things when it's so mediocre. So I tried to get to this thing, and I was like, wait a minute. First of all, I don't want to give this particular video 5 minutes of my time because this guy's voice is monotone. The presentation is super boring, and he's given a review with no spoilers. So what am I going to talk about? Also, I like non-spoiler review with just opinions and not saying anything that happens. It's really boring. It's really, you know what? So it wasn't 30 seconds. It felt like 30 seconds because I'd never turned off a YouTube video that fast in my life. But I think it was about 1:30 because I was waiting for him to get to a point where he was going to say some stuff. But when you say no spoilers, he really meant no spoilers. Yo, you're really going to like part of the middle, and then the cast, they do some stuff. They're going to do some things. When they do these things, you're going to be like, I'm not going to say anything that's going to happen, but you'll be emotionally affected by something that happens within 2 hours of this movie. What? Wait, what? I guess that's for people that really just need their fix and can't make it to the theater. So I commend him. There's something for everybody. I don't hate on anyone's art. And then I was like, you know what? I can't do that to my fans. I'm not going to hop on there and give my fans some review pretending I saw some movie that I didn't really see. It's silly. I'm not going to do that. Can't do it. So, to be honest with you guys, I have not seen Deadpool. I will see it, though, and I will let you guys know how it goes next week. I will see it. I'm going to see it this week, probably on Wednesday. I'm going to see it. I'll let you guys know how it goes. However, there's this, though. I've been hearing some strange things about it. And the interesting thing about it is this. What we're going to do, this is going to be us together as one. If you haven't seen it yet, this is great because we're all going to just talk about I'm going to talk. You guys are going to think about how you feel about the potentiality of this movie not being that good. Because I was under the impression that it would be good, but it's because I was sold that. Because I was like, yo, you make a sequel to anything that's really good, pressure's super high. If you make one movie and it makes some money, you can make the other one just because it's going to make some money. Like, all right, we got to make another one because it's going to make some bread. But you can't make a really, really good movie, and a movie that's outstanding, and then say we're going to make a sequel just to make some money. No. I'll give you a really good example. Black Panther was a good movie. It was really good. If they make a sequel, I'm not going to expect it to top the first one, because the first one, it was cool. It was a Marvel movie. It was okay. It was a good movie. It wasn't like, it wasn't Deadpool Part 1. You know what I mean? So when they make Black Panther Part 2, we're going to make someone off this movie. Let's make another one. Yay. They make some money. Done. Right? This Deadpool movie, though, Deadpool like set the bar. He's just a different type of superhero. The movie's rated R. He's killing 10,000 people. Ryan Reynolds is funny as Deadpool. They casted him perfectly as Deadpool, and his wife is incredibly beautiful. Plus, they brought Cable in. We haven't seen Cable since, I don't know, an X-Force comic since like 92. Well, that's when I read comic books. So it has all the potential to be very good. However, I've been doing my best to avoid listening to any spoilers. However, when I went to that website and try to watch a video that, like, I was trying to watch the very beginning of a video that was going to have spoilers, and the guy in the first 10 seconds was like, I don't even know what to say about this. I didn't expect to start my Deadpool review like this. And I was like, whoa, and just turn it off. I was like, I can't do this. Can't do it. Then for the other review, the guy was going on and on in a way where he was pandering to the Deadpool fans. Like, he didn't want to spoil it, but he wasn't very excited about it himself. I was like, whoa, I can't listen to any of these. And I have a coworker that's in a cubicle next to me who's like, yo, this Deadpool compared to the last one, they did this and did that. He's more of a connoisseur of the comic arts than I am. I can't say I've read as many comic books as he has. I've probably, in my lifetime, I've probably read, let's say, 40 comic books from, like, I don't know, like, let's say like 4th grade to 6th, whatever. This guy read 40 comic books yesterday. The guy next to my cubicle. So he's next level. But the stuff he was complaining about, I don't really know if it was like high level connoisseur geek stuff or if it was just regular stuff. But he was talking about how the sequel didn't meet. And I was like, la 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 with my fingers in my ears like that. So I mean, with those different interpretations, it kind of bugs me because I'm the type of person where if you tell me something's bad, I'm not really gonna roll with you. To like, I'm not gonna, like, if I want to see something, someone's like, hey, it's not good, I'm still gonna go see it because my anticipation level was pretty high for it. And also, like, I feel like I interpret movies like differently than other people. You guys know what I'm talking about? How when you watch a movie, someone's like, that was terrible, you're like, whoa, but what about this part? They're like, wait, what part? That didn't mean that. I'm like, yeah, it did mean that. It meant this, and this was my interpretation. So it was really, really good. Except, I mean, similar to Thor Ragnarok, I thought that movie was great. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was awesome. Just because I just interpret things differently than other people. I'm not saying I'm great, not that I'm amazing, nothing like that. I feel like I am. However, we all have different opinions of movies and so on and so forth. So, long story short, I'm not going to let someone tell me it's bad and then not go see it. But I'm also not going to voluntarily, like, seek out bad reviews to go prove someone wrong. That's why when people were saying, when I turned on the review and it's like, hey, you know what? This, no, you can't. No, you can't. Nope. I didn't want to start my review like this. Like, whoa. I'm not going to seek out bad information. From what I gather, some of the points I couldn't help to overhear were I read on a comment. Somebody said, oh, my coworker said this too, that they were trying to be too politically correct in this movie. And I was like, what? Like, how? And I just wonder what that meant, because in the first one, he just says and does whatever he wants. But apparently this one's like too politically correct, which has me a little shook. It makes me think a little differently. I'm not really sure what it is. Also, something else happened. Apparently there's a plot. I didn't know the plot prior to watching the videos I saw. I know what the plot is. The plot doesn't look like what the movie is. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what the plot is. It's not going to give anything away. It's just going to be what the plot is, which maybe it'll help you. Maybe it'll put you in the direction of wanting to go see the movie. I still want to go see it just because even though this plot has been done before, I guess if Marvel wants to do it, like, that's fine. But, I'm I'll tell you when I get back. I'll tell you when I get back. But I'll tell you what the plot is. Again, it's been done before, but not in Marvel, but it's kind of for other things in life. But give me a second to pay these bills, to go on this commercial break. I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sci-Fi Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. Brought to you on and presented by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. So, as I was saying, I didn't see the Deadpool movie yet. I didn't see Deadpool 2 yet. I was going to watch a video and then give you guys like my review of a review, but no, I'm not going to do that. Whoa. I was going to watch the video and watch like a recap of the movie, then give you guys my review of the movie, but I was like, that's stupid. I'm going to see the movie anyway. I'm not going to do my listeners like that. Let me just see it. So I watched a couple reviews here and there and found some common threads of the movie that aren't spoilers for the movie, but could just help guide us through it. Apparently the cast, when I saw the recap, the cast is like bigger than we knew it was. I didn't know. I had no idea that there were that many people in the movie. Like there's a lot of people in that movie. I didn't know that. The plot is this. Hopefully you're not. This won't spoil. This is not a spoiler. I promise. You'll find this out when you go see the movie. Like off apparently in the beginning. The plot is Cable has come back to whatever time it is, to 2018. Now Cable's from like the year 3000, I believe, but Cable has come back to kill this kid who basically needs to die because in the future he's important. Kind of like Terminator. You guys remember Terminator, where Arnold Schwarzenegger comes back to kill John Connor because John Connor is going to lead like the revolution of the humans over the robots in the future. I'm not gonna don't get me started on the robot apocalypse again. I know I got too far into that for you guys last week, but I will not get started on the robot apocalypse that is coming very soon into a city near you in 500 years. But basically, that's the plot. The Cable comes back to kill this kid, and Deadpool has to protect the kid. Other stuff happens, but I guess it was good for me to know the plot because I for the most part, I wanted to know. I mean, where it was going, because the first story they did a really good job of it being an origin story and showing like him going from Ryan Reynolds, it's not his name, but showing him going from Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool. They did a really good job with the origin. So for this story, I was wondering like how they were gonna go with it. So to know the plot, I guess that's good, because even though it's a Terminator plot, and people, it's not, you know what? I'm not gonna diss it and say it's the Terminator plot. People come back from the future to do things all the time. Back from the future, back to people play around in time all the time. Even the butterfly effect, the guy was going back in time to make sure that he didn't meet this girl because his life was gonna be terrible if he met her. And remember, do you guys see Butterfly Effect? Great movie, 100% great. So people have always been going back in time or forward in time to fix particular things. So I'm not going to fault them for like using the alleged Terminator plot, because I mean, I don't know, Terminator came out in 81, I believe. And since then, like, there's been a lot of stuff that happened. So I'm not going to fault them for using that. Anyway, it's fine. But I guess I like going in knowing what the plot is about. I'm really glad the plot isn't something else, because if it was like he's gonna fight some bad guy at the end that's taking a whole bunch of plasma and now he's bigger than everyone else and he has to be fought at the end, that can get really corny, because we've seen that so many times where somebody fights just a big bad guy at the end, and there's really no actual, what's the word? There's no actual purpose in fighting this bad guy just because the bad guy wants to take over the planet, right? We've seen that so many times. But versus like with Deadpool in the first one, he wanted to kill this guy, Francis, because Francis turned him into a monster. That's why he wanted to kill Francis. So there's an actual personal vendetta. It wasn't one of these things where Me, I'm the bad guy. I'm taller than everybody. I'm bigger than everybody else. And I want to rule the world. I want to kill everybody. So that's what I want to do. And the superheroes are like, no, you can't take over the world. We want to use our powers for good. And you should use your powers for good too. And if you're not, then we're going to fight you. It gets kind of old. Honestly, I hate to say that. Sorry. I don't want to be a stick in the mud, but it gets old. So to find out that Cable's coming back from wherever to come like assassinate somebody and Deadpool has to like stop it, I think that's pretty interesting. I'm pretty okay with it. I'm okay with it. So that's the plot line. With that, we have some people saying the movie was a little bit too politically correct, which I'm wondering what that means. Are we saying that all the bathrooms are gender neutral, or like I wonder if they meant that in a condescending way, like, they go out of their way to be politically correct, if he's joking about it, or if they really like remove scenes and made it a way where he couldn't have any fun being Deadpool. Because that's the whole point, right? I mean, we go to see a rated R superhero movie because we want to see rated R things inside of our superhero movie, right? I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if you want to see somebody in a red suit be a goody, you can watch Spider-Man. I think it's on Netflix. You can also watch Iron Man. He's not completely red, but he's red and yellow. He's primarily red. So there's a bunch of red people in red suits you could see. You could watch the Santa Claus movie. I mean, you can do a lot of things. People in red suits. And you can just have a good time watching them at PG-13 levels. But this movie, for it to be rated R, my expectations are pretty high. They're pretty high. And apparently there's a lot of cameos in it. Some people that we didn't expect to be. And that's what I was saying earlier about the cast. I won't spoil that for you guys, because I feel like that'd be a spoiler. Like, oh, hey, did you know that Neo from The Matrix is in this movie? What? Why would you tell me that? Oh, sorry, I thought you knew. Why would I know? Why would I know? I haven't seen it. Oh, sorry. And then I just ruin it for somebody, like inadvertently on purpose. That's a rude thing to do. So I won't tell you guys about the cameos. All I can do is this. I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to give you my review, let you guys know how I felt about it, and there's going to be some spoilers in it. So for those of you that don't enjoy my spoilers, because I did, when I reviewed Avengers, there were some spoilers. There were spoilers. And when I review Walking Dead, there's spoilers. So for those of you that haven't seen it yet, this is your chance to go see it, and we talk about it next week. We could talk about it as a team. For those of you that refuse to go see it yet and don't want me to spoil it, I'm letting you know now. When I come back, there will be spoilers. I'm sorry. I'm saying who died. I'm going to tell you if Jerry Seinfeld made a cameo. I'm going to tell you if Cyclops shows up and dies. I'm going to tell you if there happens to be a random Ninja Turtle in the movie. I'm telling you everything when I get back. So either watch it and come back and enjoy this as a team, or don't watch it and come back and enjoy these spoilers. One way or the other, it's going to get talked about. Have you guys been watching this show called Black Mirror on Netflix? Basically, it's like the Twilight Zone. For those of you who don't know what Twilight Zone is, it was a show that used to come on, like, I don't know, in the 60s or 70s, maybe the 80s too. And it was a show about just like eerie things, like eerie and just weird things. But it was back in the day. So they had like certain situations where if they had a sci-fi situation, they'd have like a robot that could talk. And that was like a big deal in the 70s, obviously. Black Mirror is based on eerie things as well, but it uses technology and it goes further like in the future and just shows us certain ways that technology can be used for, I mean, basically like good and evil. They have this episode where there's not really, so there's money, but money doesn't mean as much as your likes on your phone. You see where I'm going with this, right? So on your phone, you got these likes, right? But you purchase things with likes, and likes are related to what you can buy, and likes are related to where you can sit, and likes are related to the type of car that you can buy, and so on and so forth. So if your likes are high, it's literally like a credit score, but it's a credit score for cash. Like you can't outspend your likes. You can't do it. So there's a woman who she bases her whole life on this and makes sure she gets enough likes from everyone. Like if you walk into someone, like they can see when they have an interaction with you, they can instantly give you a like or dislike. It's like Yelp. Like if you're on your phone, and your phone has GPS on it and you have the Yelp app on your phone, when you show up somewhere, Yelp will say, do you want to review this place that you're at? Like, cause they know you're there. And that's how like you work in this society. You work in this society as someone when people meet you, they interact with you like they know you're there. Kind of like if your Bluetooth is on to find someone, that's how the phones work. And people they rate you as they interact with you. If they walk by you, if they see you, whatever, because you're in their phone space. I got to pay a bill by putting this commercial on. When I get back, I'm going to tell you guys the rest about this episode. I'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sci-Fi Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you on and presented by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcast needs. So as promised, I was going to finish telling you guys about this episode of Black Mirror that I thought was really interesting. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. It's called Black Mirror. It's like 3 seasons of it. It's great. So what happens with this woman, she's trying to get an apartment and she's trying to get her likes up. So a lot of people or within this world, everyone's super neat. So everyone's clothes are ironed, like everyone's smiling all the time. They don't interact with certain people that have like low stars and things like that. So like just a couple instances. So one, she talks to some guy. There's a guy in her office that's giving out drinks, and she takes a drink from the guy. And she's like, hey, how's the breakup? And he's like, oh, I'm getting through it. And she's like, okay. And he walks off with his drinks. And then her rating goes down. And then she finds out later on, like, oh, hey, you're not supposed to be talking to Todd because he broke up with Michael, but everyone in the office is on Michael's side. So she got all these dislikes instantly for that day. She was in the elevator with the lady. A lady disliked her. She went to go do something to her smile to make it more bright. And then a lady liked her. She's trying to get this apartment. She needed to get her likes up. So she started doing a whole bunch of things, smiling and doing more stuff to get her likes up. She gets invited to a wedding by her friend that's really mega popular. Like they went to high school together. They used to be best friends or whatever. What ends up happening is she gets invited to the wedding and she has some trouble getting there. She misses her flight just because of her ride is messed up. She gets to the airport and she gets a little upset and she's yelling at this lady. And because she yells at this lady by accident, she gets her like taken down. Then security comes, she gets another like taken down. And everyone, when you yell, everyone gets really scared because everyone's in line because they don't want their likes to go down. So her likes go so far down that she's unable to fly on this plane. She goes to rent a car. She can't rent the car she wants to rent because she doesn't have enough likes. She has to go to another place. And rent a car and get gas. She gets gas. The guy gives her like a 3. And she's like, wait, what are you doing? I thought, and the guy's like, it just wasn't a meaningful transaction to me. And what's interesting about that is how we do rate stuff. Not people, but people, but how we do rate things. We're like, I'm sorry, it's not likes. It's like 1 through 5 stars or whatever. It's literally like Yelp. But how we rate things, like some things on Yelp say 5 stars. I went here. It was good. They gave me food. Yay. And some things are like 1 star. I went here and the lady across from me, she was on the phone for 35 seconds. So I hate this restaurant now. So I found it interesting the way that we rate things because everyone's rating and opinion of rating systems are completely different. So she gets in the car, the tire blows out. She's on the side of the road. As everyone drives by her, they keep driving by her, they keep disliking her like more and more because she looks like a transient. They just judge her and dislike her. So basically all your judgments turn into dislikes. She ends up getting into a truck with this lady that drives a truck. And she's like, what happened to you? Like, why are you like this? Why do you have a 1 star? She didn't want to get in the lady's truck at first because it's only 1 star. And the woman I'm telling you guys about, she got all the way down to like 2.5 stars. And she's like, hey, I used to be a 5 star. And she was like, what happened? So my husband had cancer and the doctors couldn't help him. And this happened at the hospital and I flipped out and everyone gave me dislikes. They judged me. And then she lost all of her rating and she started driving the truck and she just didn't care anymore. The woman gets a phone call from her friend and says, hey, I don't need you at my wedding anymore. I don't need you here. And she's like, why? What happened? She's like, when you were on the way, you had 4 stars and now you have 2 stars. So I can't have you here. I can't have a 2-star at my wedding. And she's like, wait, that's so shallow. And the girl is like, it's not shallow because you were only coming to my wedding because you know people would see you and that you would get more 5-star likes from 4-star people. And the game goes on. She goes to the wedding anyway. She puts on a big show. And flips out of the wedding. She gets arrested and she goes to a jail cell. She's at a jail cell and there's another guy across from her in the jail cell. And they just start yelling curse words at each other. Like, just curse words. Any curse word you could think of, they start yelling them back and forth with each other and they're laughing about it. Why? Because they're free. Like, they're free of judgment. And that's how the episode ends. They're yelling at each other in jail cell, like yelling curse words and laughing about it. And I thought it was so crazy because everyone, like, it'd be like every time you see someone and judge them, like, you would get there'd be a certain number. So every time you look at somebody and there's a judgment, whatever you think of them, they would get a 5 or 4 or 3 or 1 or 2, whatever. And I want to say it's a massive combination of like credit and social media, because what happens is just based on the amount of likes you have or based on the amount of people that you know or your judgment, then more people will give you credibility. You see a restaurant on Yelp with like 5 stars, you're gonna go. Like, regardless of the cost, regardless of what the 1-star people says, if it has 5 stars, you're gonna think that it's pretty good versus a place that's 2.5. And it can be 2.5 stars with like 4 reviews, but you're like, I'm not going there. But it only has 4 reviews. So what? I don't care. I'm not going there. It seems bad. So you should watch Black Mirror, because a lot of these shows, all of them, none of them are made current. They don't really tell you what time it is, but they are far out in the future. So far out in the future that basically a lot of the stuff is imaginable. And for our phones and our technology to do this and be just so connected to everything to the point where the amount of judgment we get bases where we can live and what we can do and what we can afford it's uncanny to me. It's completely uncanny that we can get to that place. But it's scary because we can get, like, I feel like we are there. Like, depending on, for example, if you go somewhere and you try to get a phone or whatever. If you have 0 credit, people see that you have no credit. You have no credit rating, which it's not as bad as bad credit, because it doesn't mean you've messed anything up, but it's just a little bit better than bad credit. People are like, hey, you have to go create some credit. You got to go borrow some money and pay it back. And that way the credit people will say, hey, we like you. Then the credit people will report to other people that they like you. Then they'll give you more credit. But you can't just say, oh, you can't just give me that. No, go get some credit somewhere. Go borrow some money and prove you can pay it back. And then when people like you, we'll give you money too, because other people said they like you, which is the same thing. But they combined all this into social media. The realtor at the apartment complex checked the woman's likes to let her know how many likes she needed to live in that particular area. Isn't that crazy? So, well, not likes, but her star rating 1 through 5, and the area she wanted to move in was only for like 4.5 stars. That's when she went and got her teeth fixed and all this stuff to try to get to a 4.5. But if you guys get a chance, I'd say check out Black Mirror. I did give up on Westworld. It got a little bit too complex. So I hate to tell you guys I gave up on it. But if you watch, the first season is great. The very first season of Westworld is incredible. Check that out. If you want to go into the second one, do it. But you can watch the first one, because the first one, it's outstanding. The second one, I think you need to be on shrooms to follow what's going on, or they need to release all of them at once. And you need to binge it in your basement while no one talks to you, because there's so much going on. If you get distracted one time, you won't know what's happening. And I feel like I take in information pretty well. So it's in a way embarrassing for me to say that I don't understand what's happening, but I'll be embarrassed because I don't know what's happening in that show right now. If you can't figure it out, you let me know. You guys could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. This has been Ryan Holloway, your favorite host, hosting the GSMC Sci-Fi podcast on the world-famous GSMC Podcast Network to provide you for all of your podcasting needs. Live long, prosper, watch out for potholes.